Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world. This is the world of Wayne. Happy Friday. Today I'm going to be doing part 2 or stage 2 of the Hachette Partworks release of Build the Lancaster Bomber. And as you can see, this comes on a massive card. Now I'm guessing if you get this by subscription through Hachette Partworks, and I have put a link down here for that, that it's going to be not on a card this big. It's going to be the magazine and this in a little pack, because that's quite a big feat to post. I actually got this from my local newsagents, and as you can see, part 2 is $6.99. Now if you do want to subscribe to this yourself, do follow that link to the Hachette Partworks website. That actually tells them that you've come from the World of Wayne channel. Now in the last stage, I'll show you what we build. I'll show you what we build. What sort of English is that? I'll show you what we built. So we did this, and we did the pitot tube, which I called a pilot tube. I did that in the trial version as well. I'm wondering if it was actually written pilot tube in the magazine. That's why I said it. But loads of you have corrected me to it's a pitot tube. I don't know if I've spelt that right. P-I-T-O-T. Is that how you pronounce that? But there you go. So that was looking like that. We had a tester board here, which we're probably going to be using for the rest of the build. We did the propeller looking like that. We tried that out to make sure that that works. And then we started the internal frame here, and we put some details in. Now, today's stage, we're going to be doing loads of little details, a lot like this here. So I will just show you what's on the back of this, just so you can see what subscribers get at the moment. So this is what the back looks like. They've got their own QR code here as well, and it shows you what's coming in stage 3, which is $10.99. It looks like we've got the canopy, and it looks like the floor of the cockpit there as well. It shows you all about the magazine here, and just telling you some of the dynamic features that we've got on a Lancaster bomber, like the wheels going up and down. I know that that's another thing. I called it a Barnes Noble bomb. I mean, unless it's making books, it's a Barnes Wallis bomb. I don't know what was going on in my mind. I blamed the COVID over Christmas. The Barnes Wallis bouncing bomb, not the Barnes Noble bomb. What am I like? It shows the inner lights here, the working propellers and the dam, that this is actually going to be a dynamic feature on for flying over. So this is what it looks like from this side. Let's get this open. Now something to note about these books, look, they come with these ringlets here, so you are going to be able to store this in one of the binders. But this is the magazine for part 2. And once again, it just shows you the free gifts and what you get with this build, looking like that. And you can actually post this off to Hachette Partworks to start your subscription if you don't do it online. But this is everything that we've got in the box. And if you check this out, look at that. You see what I mean about detail? There's lots of detail parts in here. Keep turning the magazine, and there's a step-by-step guide of how we're actually making this. So it does look like we're doing the gun sight on this one. God, there's loads that we're actually doing. Look at it. Quite a in-depth detail stage, this one. Look, we've actually got some of the glazing in this one as well. And then a little bit of history about the Lancaster bomber here, like that. Now with these stages, with all the tiny parts like this, let me give you a bit of advice. Keep all the parts in the actual tray that they come in, and when you need time to fish them out, just use yourself some tweezers to get these out. Also, we've got some really tiny parts in this, so I am going to be using my magnifying glasses. These are in my Amazon store. I have put a link down there to where you can get them from. I think I paid just under £20 for these, and they come with loads of different lenses as well. I mean, I've got big lenses because I'm blind as a bat, but as you can see here, this is all the lenses that you get in it as well. Because we're dealing with tiny pieces here, I have zoomed in all of my cameras. And as you can see, some of these tiny pieces do have their own little section to put them in. And even more tiny details in these little bags here. So it's going to be a case of putting these two parts together. Now, we really want to use the tiniest amount of glue on these. Now, you can either use a cocktail stick and some super glue, or you can use the brush-on glue that I've got here. Now, even this is probably going to be too much for what I actually want to use it for. So I am going to be applying it with a cocktail stick. So what I'm going to do is pour some glue just into that packaging there. Touch the cocktail stick on the ends of this part here. It's not going to need a lot, both sides. And then I'm going to be attaching this to this side here. Now there is a D-shaped pattern in there, so it can only go in one way, but you do want to make sure that when you put it in, it's in a right angle like that. I'm going to do the same on the other side, just with the opposite number. Now you see this has got some tabs. Whoops, dropped it. See this has got some tabs here. You need to make sure that they're facing out. And showing you on the top camera, that's what that should look like when those two are in. At the back section here, again with the D-shaped holes, I've got this section just here. So once again, I'm just going to put some glue just in the inside of the D-shaped holes that we've got at the back. Ensure him I don't get glue anywhere else. And then push them together. As you can see, we've now got one piece looking like that. Now I need the base of the turret, that's what they're calling this, and the pegs that I showed you that need to be facing out on the side there and there are going to be going into the recess just here and here, and it's going to be going this way round. So giving it a dry fit, it's going to go in just like that. So it sits slightly down in there like that. So let me get this glued in. Again, I'm using the tiniest amount of glue here. Now what might help is just using the end of your tweezers just to ensure that is pushed in as far as you can get it on each side. Now if I turn over what we've just created there, we've got these ammunition boxes to put in. Now these are going to go into the two holes at the side just here. Now if you haven't pushed this bit down as far as you possibly can, you're not going to get these into the holes on the side. That's one in there. Another thing you'll find that will help is getting yourself some tweezers, putting them together, sticking them in the holes here, and sort of levering that middle section up as well, and that will help to pull that where it needs to go. But when they're both in, they should look just like that. Perfect. Now I need these carpet collection bags that look like this. These are going to go on the slots just here. So once again, tiniest amount of glue just on these points here. And get these into place. Might be best to use tweezers for this. That's one. And that one's two. And ensure they're pushed all the way down there. Excellent. Now in the holes here and here, I've got two control levers to put in. These things are absolutely tiny. I mean, check them out. Again, a bit of glue into this hole just here. I'll load this tiny detail up with my tweezers here and get this in. And just make sure that that's straight in there like that. Do the same on the other side. And again, I'll show you on the top camera, the important part is to make sure it's square like that. Now in this back hole just here, there's a control lever to put in. So again, the tiniest amount of glue. Again, I'm using my tweezers just to hold the control lever and put that into place. Perfect. I can now put that whole thing to one side just to dry. And what I've got here is the two machine guns. So I'm just going to untangle these wires and just provide quite a bit of strength just to get these all straightened out. So we're now going to be taking these brackets here and putting them on these machine guns. Now the indented side, as you see, we've got a flat side and an indented side is going to go on here like that. Now I've put a little bit of oil on this because we've got to put a peg in. This peg's going to be quite hard to get in. So putting a little bit of oil is just going to help push that in all the way there. So this is able to move, as you can see there. But that's in position like that. I'm going to do the same on the other side. Again, you know you've got it in the right way because the indented side should be facing up. And then just put the peg in. This is what the peg looks like. And there we go. That's that one in as well. Now on either side of these, we've got some mounts to put in, which I'm going to put a little bit of glue just in each side there. These are what they look like. I'm just going to press these into place. So that one's one. And that one's two. There is a little curve away, as you can see there. They're in. Now I can just put these to one side. So bringing over this section now, which we work, that should all be dry now. We've got some cartridge chutes to put in. And again, there is a specific way that they go in. So what I'm going to do is put one in here. Just gluing up where these are going to go. Using my tweezers to push this into position. And when they're in, that should look like that. This is a really fiddly stage, and you really do want to take your time on this. Now this is where we're going to be putting the machine gun assemblies in. So I want this side first. Again, I'm going to drop some glue just into the holes at the front here. One here. Right at the front. And there is an indent just behind the wall just here for the other side to go in. So again, this is so tiny, it's probably best I put this in so you can see what this looks like. So when that's in, it should look like that. As you can see, this can go up and down. And then this top brace here is going into the hole. And if you look at this piece on the side here, that's on the outside of the machine gun. I'm going to do exactly the same on the other side. I am putting a little bit of glue just into that top hole there, so that when I attach this, they're both going to fit into these top holes. Now the wires for each one is just going to feed down the front here. So let me get them in, and then I'm going to straighten out the guns at the front. Have a look on the top camera. I've gone to considerable trouble to ensure that they're straight there, and that they're straight there. That was really fiddly. That took about 15 minutes just to get that like that. But as you can see, I fed the wires through there. So that's how that's looking now. Now I want to take the turret support. This is going to go over the top of this into the pegs at the front here. So I'm going to do a dry fit just to get an idea how that goes, and I'll glue that in place. And again, showing you on the top camera, that's how that should look. These should be in flush to that's going over there. So now that's looking like that. So the last section I'm doing here is I'm going to take this section here, and I'm going to be putting these recesses here into those rectangular lugs. You don't have to glue this. So I'm just going to push that in. Make sure it's in all the way round. There you go. That should look just like that. Loads of detail there. So I can put this whole thing to one side. And we're going to be working on our first bit of glazing here. That's going to be going into this gun turret frame here. It fits in just like this, so we can do a test fit on this. Now it is going to take some pushing and pulling, but you want to ensure the frame is in all the indents of this section. That's in there so tight, it's not going to need glue or anything. Now this is going to actually put the machine guns through the slots here. And it's going to attach to the back wall just here like this. 1 and 2. So that is going to look just like that as a dry fit. So I am just going to glue this into place now. And this time I am going to put the finished bead around this inside edge here with my brush. And I'm just holding that together. That looks really good, doesn't it? Now this turret needs to swivel, so we've got a base here for this to go on. So what I'm going to do is put the machine gun cables just through that base there. And that's going to be seated on there just like that. So as you can see, this is free to turn just like that. Now in the back section here, I've got a rear outer wall looking like that. Again, I'm not using too much glue, but I'm going to put some glue just into the holes here, because that's what's going to attach this outer wall. And ensure that's pushed into place just like that. Now that is all there is to do in that stage, but we do have some parts left over. I've got the VHF aerial here. I've got some control panels. I've got some glazing here. So I'm going to be keeping all of this safe. I've got a bit of the cockpit frame. And I've got this metal section of the fuselage here. But that took a recording time of 1 hour 10 minutes. I'm sure you'll agree that looks absolutely amazing. Now when we did the trial of this, I don't actually remember making this, so that may be a change. But there you go. That was so involved, but I do want to give you another look at how that looks. Really good. If you want to get this for yourself, once again, I've put a link in the video description, and you can also scan the QR code on the screen. But I really hope you liked that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care.